Nightmares. They have started again. The nightmares. You know the ones I'm talking about. The ones where something truly terrible is happening and all you want to do is scream. The terror is so real you can see it chasing you. You can hear its footsteps behind your own. You can feel its hot breath whispering in your ear. You know one scream and it would all go away, but for some reason, you can't. It won't let you because it doesn't want you to scream. It likes to chase you. It likes to play. She was in the basement again. She went down there every night and would stay down there for hours, often forgetting about me and everything else. I was a very curious child, as most are, so one night I decided to take a peek. I walked over to the door, got on my hands and knees, and looked through the keyhole. Those nightmares are happening again. They started up several months ago. Every night, like clockwork, I wake up in my bed, soaked with my own sweat, trying desperately to scream, but nothing comes out. Nothing ever comes out. Not anymore. I couldn't tell what she was doing. I remember seeing all that red stuff on the walls. Was she painting the basement? In the middle of the night? I started walking back to my room, rubbing the sleep from my eyes when I heard the noise. I froze. The noise stopped quicker than I did. Footsteps started rushing up the stairs, so I raced back to my room as quietly as possible and jumped into my bed. My door swung open and I shut my eyes, hard, like children do when they're pretending to sleep. I could hear my heart beating faster than it ever had before. My door quietly closed and the basement door quietly opened. I read that nightmares can be caused by any number of factors, like stress or dehydration, or even a reaction from medication. None of those pertain to me. I know exactly what was causing my nightmares. As soon as I heard the lock of the basement door slide into place, I sprinted back. I looked through the keyhole again, but could only see her back. It looked like she was petting something. Whatever it was lying on the bed. Bed that had wheels and was made of red metal bars. She was whispering to whatever was lying there in front of her. She said the word ready, but she said it like a question. Trauma affects people in different ways. Some become reclusive and close down. Some have psychological issues like insomnia or irritability. There can be physical symptoms such as agitation or fatigue. I would have killed for those. You see, my trauma affected me much differently. Ready? She whispered as she got on top of the bed. That's when I saw what was lying there. A man. She was on top of a naked man. He was covered in the red stuff. He was licking it too. He was trying to talk through this ball thing that was in his mouth. She held something shiny to his throat which made him squeal. The noise. That was the same noise. She slapped him and put her finger up to her lips, making the universal shh sign. She looked up at the door and I swear she made eye contact with me through the keyhole. No traditional methods for making the nightmares stop ever worked for me. About a year or so ago, I tried a few non-traditional methods on my own. So they worked quite well, but only at first. Never ever stuck. Nothing ever stuck. After a few weeks or months, if I was lucky, the nightmares would return. I was at the end of my rope. Professional help was now required. When the doctor came into my room, we sat in silence for several minutes before I was handed a single sheet of paper. It had one sentence stamped slightly off-centered near the top section of the page. My hands started shaking as I read the words. You know why you have nightmares? The man's hands were tied to either side of the bed. She was still on top of him. but now she was moving up and down. It started slow at first, but then got faster. She was naked now and used the shiny thing to make more red stuff come out. She rubbed it all over herself. The man didn't look like he was enjoying this. She did. She let her soft moan but then stopped moving. She leaned down to his face and looked as if she was whispering something in his ear. After a few seconds, he started screaming through the ball that was strapped in his mouth. When she came back up, she had his ear in her mouth. Every part of me wanted to scream, but I couldn't. Who are you? I asked pointlessly. The doctor's hands gently cupped my own. I could smell perfume on them. That scent. I knew it from somewhere. I was handed another piece of paper. This one also had one sentence stamped onto it. You promised. She spat the ear out and started giggling, then got off the man and turned out of sight. I stared at him for the longest time. He looked so familiar, but I couldn't place him. He was still covered in the red stuff, so it was hard to tell, but it looked like he had markings on him, scratches or cuts maybe. They were all over his body. The only one I could clearly make out was the triangle. It was carved directly on his forehead. You promised. I remember the smell. It was the scent she wore. The one with the number 5 on the bottle. That gold liquid. She used to spray it around the house. We had a crawl space beneath our place, and animals would often get stuck under there and die. After a few days, they would start to stink. A few more days, and the house reeked of death. So she would try to cover up the smell with the perfume. I remember watching her take long, deep breaths before she sprayed the perfume. I remember the look on her face. It was like she enjoyed the mixture of the two smells. The doctor. It was her. I won't tell anyone. I promise you that. I felt warm breath in my ear. It startled me. She was whispering something. Just like man on the bed. I swear, I won't say anything. I haven't started in years. She was on top of me now. She put something cold and sharp on my forehead and gently traced the shape of a triangle. I pushed her off of me and the bed. I could feel the vibration of her hitting the ground. I felt around for something, anything that could help me end this once and for all. I reached out the wall behind me and felt a plastic box. I opened the flap and reached inside. Something was stabbing my fingertips. It was full of used needles. This sort of thing happened nightly for months after that. Every night she would put me to sleep, and every night she would go down into the basement. I couldn't watch anymore. I don't want to see those things. I don't want to hear those things. As time went on, she didn't even cover his mouth anymore. She knew. I knew. One day, after coming home from the pregnancy store, she hung a picture on my wall. I remember staring at it during those long nights when she was down in the basement. She would turn on my nightlight before she went down there, so I could see it in the dark. She would tuck me in, kiss my forehead, flip on the nightlight, and go down to the basement. Sometimes the screamings wouldn't let me sleep. On those nights, I would draw that picture that was hanging above my nightlight over and over in my little pad of paper with my little crayons. I managed to get a hold of one of the strangers. I could feel her watching me from the other side of the bed. I promise I won't speak it to anyone, I whispered. I gripped the needle hard and my tongue harder. My hands shook as I stuck the dirty needle inside my mouth and started stabbing one at the base of my tongue. I managed to pierce it several times before the blood spurted everywhere and loosened my grip. I must have punctured it over a dozen times before I felt the needle slipping away. I started coughing and choking on my own blood as it slid down my throat. Every cough made me stab the needle further in my tongue. I wasn't sure how much was left, so I tried to close my mouth. Only half of my shredded tongue was dangling outside my lips. I needed this to be over. I stuck it out as far as it could possibly go and bit. I bit with everything I had in me. One bite wasn't enough. I had to chew on my own, half-severed tongue before I felt it let go. I wasn't able to hear the wet flash against the tile this time, but I knew I had done it. I finally closed my mouth and felt the blood trickling down my neck. I dropped the needle and got back into bed. She placed something in my hand, then lifted the covers, took me in, and kissed my forehead. I felt the door shut. The paper she had given me was still resting on the sheets. Though now they were soaked with blood, I grabbed one and brought out the crayon she handed me. One of the nights, while I listened to the screaming and moaning drifting from the basement, I would stare at that framed picture of their 3 happy faces, each equally spaced from one another, each doing different things with their hands. She always pointed out the last one before she left the room, before she went down to the basement. Each face had 3 words beneath them. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. They were all smiling.